What's up, Kryptonians? Happy holidays. I hope you and yours really had a great Christmas and a great day after Christmas. Today I am talking about The Fire Inside, which is a new boxing biopic that I think came out on Christmas Day. I actually saw this movie like a week and a half ago, so I've kind of been sitting on this review for a while. You know, it's Christmas week and I wanted to take a couple of days off and not have to worry about reviews, so that's why this video is getting out to you so late. Directed by Rachel Morrison, I'm pretty sure this is her big feature film debut. This film is also produced by Barry Jenkins. For what it's worth, Barry Jenkins, busy man in the month of Christmas, as it turns out. The film stars Ryan Destiny and Brian Tyree Henry, and this is a story about a specific segment of the life of Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields, the boxer who became the first woman ever to win a gold medal in boxing, the one who changed the game for all of the women when it comes to Olympic competition, and she also won multiple gold medals. This movie is focusing on not just how she came up, but also a specific period of her life where she's training for the Olympics, and Brian Tyree Henry plays her trainer in this movie, a man named Jason Crutchfield. I did not know that this movie was about Claressa Shields. I had no idea what the movie was about. I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, inspirational boxing movie, sure, that could be pretty good. And then I saw the movie and I was just like, wait a minute, Claressa Shields? I didn't know that the movie was about Claressa Shields. Of course I know who Claressa Shields is. When I was watching the movie and I found out who it was about, I was like, wait a minute, so this is about T-Rex? Wait a minute, ain't she the same one that was on Twitter like a week and a half ago and talking all kinds of shit to Remy Ma? Ain't she the woman that was online and all her business with Papoose was you know what? This is not the channel to talk about gossip. Maybe we should leave all of that alone. Point is, I actually got more into the movie as soon as I found out who it was about, and I will say that if you're looking for a good boxing movie, a good biopic, a good inspirational feel-good type of story, definitely The Fire Within is going to satisfy that boxing itch that some of you might have, and even if you don't have a boxing itch, it might be scratching for other reasons. Either way, it's just a good movie. In all seriousness though, if you are scratching for other reasons, I would see a doctor immediately. You should not be scratching for other reasons. I really like the setup for this movie. They start off in the first act of the movie and they show Claressa's life. She's growing up with a family that is dealing with poverty, as a lot of people in Flint, Michigan around that time were dealing with, as some of them are still dealing with today. You immediately get yourself attached to this character. You understand that she has this hunger, this desire to prove herself, but not just to fight, but also to fight for her people, for her family. So I like the way that the cinematography really hones in on the location of Flint, Michigan. I'm assuming that this movie was shot on location. A lot of emphasis on heavy blues for the cinematography for this movie, but also a lot of emphasis just on the surrounding environment in Flint, Michigan. Broken down businesses and homes, like cracked windows. I mean, you've got a whole bunch of shit going on in Flint. You just gravitate to it because we've all had situations where we've dealt with struggle, and we've all heard of the struggles that go on in Flint, Michigan specifically. I would say the best thing about the movie easily is the dynamic between Claressa and between her trainer slash coach slash friend, played by Brian Tyree Henry. Jason and Claressa have this bond that is kind of complicated, but also it's a dynamic that you can't help but root for. I love their back and forth. I love their interplay. I love how different parts of their relationship are funny, but also kind of sad at different points in the movie. Brian Tyree Henry does not get enough credit for the kind of actor that he is, but he was amazing in this movie. I heard that they initially cast Ice Cube to play this character. Immediately when I hear that, I'm like, okay, well, Brian Tyree Henry is a far better actor, so I'm glad that they made the right choice. Absolutely made the right choice. In fact, we dodged a fucking nuke with this one. No disrespect to Ice Cube. Brian Tyree Henry is great because he's juggling a lot of hats in this movie. He's not just her trainer or her coach. He's also her friend. He's also her manager. He's trying to look out for her in a lot of different ways. I also really love Ryan Destiny and her performance. I love the way that she captured Claressa's fire, her rage to win, this fierce desire to be the best at what she does. First half of the movie really focuses more on her journey to become a great fighter and like the build and the lead up to her becoming an Olympic boxer. Boxing montages and its boxing fights that are filmed pretty okay, mixed in with some pretty human moments. This movie has a good mix of emotion that is powering through the core of it. It's emotion powered through by the performances. The performances absolutely doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. I've definitely seen better boxing biopics, and what I will say is that the second half of the movie is low-key more interesting than the first half. First half is pretty much just her journey to become a fighter and become a boxer, and you've seen a lot of this stuff before, just in different formats and different movies. Second half of the movie is a much more personal struggle. It's kind of like after she becomes the champion, then what? Like, what happens after that? And that is a more fascinating look at the whole boxing trope as they display it in films. Because usually we see the champion win and then that's the end of the story, that's the end of the movie. And I like the fact that the story kept going and it showed, no, just because you're the champion, there's some real struggles that she and her people were going through in Flint. And not just her, but also women, and the fight to establish equal pay and equal like boxing rights for women in the Olympic competition. Like, that was a real storyline for the second half of the movie, and I was more interested in that half. I would actually say my biggest issue with this movie is the loose ends that pop up all throughout the storytelling. It feels like they introduce a lot of things and different storylines, different subplots, and then they just kind of abandon them or forget about them. You don't get certain things that are brought in and you're like, oh, this could be a really emotional finish, and then they just kind of ignore it and you're like, well, why did you introduce it in the first place? There's a lot of things that are introduced and it just feels like, why would you introduce them if you weren't going to follow through in it? This movie does not follow through on a lot of that. And I get it, there's a lot of stuff that it's trying to juggle. This is like dominating a fight for 10, 11 rounds or whatever, and then in the 12th round, you get knocked down. I mean, yeah, sure, you played a good fight, but at the end of the day, you got knocked down. It's probably going to cost you the win. The Fire Inside is well acted, well directed. It has a fun dynamic between a coach and a fighter. The movie didn't follow through on some of its subplots and character arcs, and that was a frustrating thing. So in the end, I can only recommend it so much. The Fire Inside was a pretty solid watch. Definitely could have been a little bit better. I'm going to leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. What is the movie that you were most looking forward to seeing around Christmas time? Go ahead and put that in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.